Hello, my name is Melissa Campbell. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to introduce myself and how I can contribute to the continued growth of Franklin Public Schools. I will be able to become a team member that embodies the values of this educational community and leverages these values to achieve the goals outlined by the Coherence Plan. I have experienced the power and potential of a quality and equitable education. My belief about education is that it can be a tool to change and develop an individual, a conduit for the social and economic mobility of a family, and the revolutionary factor of a community or country. If a quality education is delivered and embraced, it leaves the mark of generational change. My philosophy about education aligns with Hattie's words in 10 Mind Frames that posits the prime purpose of education is to help students exceed what they think is their potential and imbue them with our passion for learning. And I am so very passionate about learning. I have experienced exceeding what I thought my potential was. I was the first generation in my family to graduate college, and my father the first to graduate high school. My first teaching job was at Young Leaders Academy. This was my second grade class at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, my alma mater and their future. I taught second and third grade for 5 years and loved to make learning come alive. The teaching strategies I implemented prioritized student achievement and student engagement. As evidence of how I value personal growth, I decided to pursue a master's in education and added a license in special education. I started my special education teaching career at Milwaukee College Prep.
You've been shown, let it live inside you. And all the wisdom you've been shown, let it live inside you. You make us proud every day, how you work and how you play. We will always have your back, no matter where you're at.
It is a very special place. My experience at Milwaukee College Prep has filled a toolkit with resources in increasing student engagement and creating a culture that staff and students want to be actively involved in. My experience as a special education teacher allowed me to become deeply rooted in the value of innovation and increased the passion with which I assure educational equity for my students. These small group of students to serve and really drill down to what skills they needed to learn or refine to motivate their learning allowed for exponential growth, and it was a thrilling experience. A year and a half ago, I became the Dean of Special Education. It was one position for 4 schools. The adults and teachers and educational assistants now became my classroom. We worked hard together to train, improve, coach, and develop a community to best serve all students. During the partnership and collaboration with other teachers, I learned how to make clear my relentless pursuit of educational equity that had been defined by all of the educational and career decisions. Equity, as defined by Unbound Ed, is when all students receive grade-level content, have tools to access grade-level content, and it is proven that students can do the grade-level work successfully when it is offered equitably. And this, equitable educational opportunities for all students, is my anthem as the Dean of Special Education and will continue to be my life's work. The Director of Special Education and I implemented and nurtured a network priority of universal access, which embodies my educational philosophy of all means all. In 2018, our team determined supplementary aids and services to be a critical influence in improving inclusive practices. We trained, observed, and supported general education and special education teachers with identifying why and how to leverage supplementary aids and services to impact all students. In 2019-20 school year, The universal access priority remains, and I help to identify co-teaching as the critical lever to progress in our equity mission. I trained, observed, modeled, and gave follow-up support. I met with a universal access committee, sent out surveys, and teamed up teachers to engage in the co-teaching process. Our team focused on the rigor of the content being delivered in each classroom and how teachers were making that rigor accessible to all students. A specific example of this is professional development that I organized and delivered around the concept of volume of reading. This is rooted in a 1988 study on the effects of prior knowledge on readers. It was determined that increasing a student's background knowledge increases his or her vocabulary, ability to comprehend, and knowledge about the text. We ordered books aligned to curricular themes, and if special education teachers were providing instruction and comprehension, they aligned their teaching to support the student's growth of background knowledge that would help them access the rigor of the grade level text. All of these elements of this focused and targeted priority to move our network forward are starting to work. We have data, testimonials, test scores, and other evidence of the success of co-teaching to impact the educational outcomes for all kids. I am prepared and equipped to coach special education teachers at Franklin Public Schools to do the very same thing. I know Franklin is looking to improve their feedback model for special education teachers. I would be able to help implement a model, perhaps similar to the one I am familiar with, which is Skyrocket Coaching Model. It's organized by focus strands and foundational teacher actions as they relate to each strand. The foundational teacher actions, these are actions we want to see in a classroom or with a small group or in a one-on-one session, will embrace the 10 mind frames. In 2017, Hattie outlined collective teacher efficacy as having tremendous impact on student outcome. He says it refers to the shared belief of teachers within a school, specifically the belief they hold about their collective capacity to help students in their school to learn. Higher levels of collective efficacy have a strong link to higher levels of student achievement. This tells me that strong, clear, and consistent coaching for all teachers allow for increased collective teacher efficacy and ultimately increased student achievement. I am a daughter, wife, and mother, and in my fullest capacity, I am a teacher. I am prepared to work with the Franklin Public School team as a cross-categorical specialist to impact the learning of middle and high school students. I would love to work with all members of your team to increase their success and the success of your students. Thank you so much for your time.